a great team win. Really, really proud of our guys, the way that they responded, and really both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. You know, that was a team that was averaging 475 yards of total offense that we held to 171 yards, and a team that jumped out 16-0 against a top 25 team and played them to the end, and I think only fell to them by a couple touchdowns. And so, you know, I thought, you know, that's what it's supposed to look like when you're playing well on both sides of the ball. You know, hold a team to 171 yards, get 400 yards rushing, 620 yards total offense, and you know, really a big key too was with a tempo offense like that was staying on the field on offense, and we had almost 40 minutes time of possession, almost double what they had. And I'm not a big time of possession guy, you know, we're not, but when you play these teams, it's important to hold on to the ball, convert thirds downs, which we did, 10 of 15, and 6 of 6 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So again, really, really proud of our guys for tuning out all the noise and tuning out all the distractions that they could have allowed to creep in after last week's showing, and they got back to work, and they knew what we had to do, they knew what we're capable of doing, and they did it. And I couldn't be prouder of that team in there right now for responding the way that they did. Questions?
Tom, after that Maryland game, you had to be wondering, you know, you didn't recognize that team. What did you learn about them after this performance? You can look at both games now.
Oh, I mean, we're not a finished product. You know, I wrote down, you know, we had too many drop balls, still a few too many penalties. Field position was not great. We had a couple coverage busts, and we still got to fix our kickoff coverage to be more consistent. So definitely not a finished product, but man, did our guys, they flew around and they cut it loose and they played with confidence and swagger, and you know, that was something that was missing. And I think you know, this is a smart team. This is a team that you know, saw all of the errors from last Saturday, and they vowed to correct them, and they knew that the way we do that in our culture is to go out and work our tails off and make sure that we do things so intensely at practice that eventually it becomes habit in the game. And I saw a lot of good habits being reinforced today, whereas there was a lot of bad habits that crept back into our team last week. So no, we got to do it again. I mean, we got a real one this week.
Tom, what do you want the offensive identity of this team to be, and do you feel like it started to reveal itself today?
Yeah, we need to run the ball. We've got a above average offensive line. We've got good tailbacks. And you know, that's who we are. That's what we believe in. Now, we're not going to be so stubborn as to, you know, last week you fall down by 20 in the second quarter, and you know, you're playing a defense that's structurally you know, taking away the run, for lack of a better term. That, you know, we're going to be able to win the game the way the defense dictates that we do. But you know, in games like this, you got to be able to impose your will and run the football and take some pressure off that quarterback. And you know, I think our offensive line and backs did a marvelous job of that.
Between the knee and the hamstring and the mumps and everything that Chris Warren's gone through, how much have you actually had a chance to see him do what he did today, and how impressed are you? What can he do for this offense?
Yeah, I think we all knew it was in there. We'd seen flashes of it, but you know, this is a guy that was, you know, has been banged up and you know, missed some time for us. And again, he'd be the first to tell you he's not a finished product. You know, I think there were some runs that he made a lot of yards on just because he's a 6'2", 250-pound guy that was running hard. But you know, he's still got work to do in terms of seeing the holes open up. But was really proud of Chris. Is a guy that in 9 months has really made a commitment to running tougher, to running stronger, to running lower, And, you saw that today. So that was good to see him take what he's been training to improve on and take it to the game field.
Yeah, how would you evaluate Ellinger's play in his first start? And do you think Shane would be ready to play next week, or are you confident you could go with this 2-quarterback system?
I think Sam played good. I mean, for that being his first collegiate start, that was good. I thought he was very poised in the pocket. However, I thought, there were times where he wasn't seeing the coverage as well, and there were some throws to be made, and was hanging on to it a little bit too long. But to go whatever he went, 15 of 27 for 222, took no sacks. So he got himself out of some trouble. So when he did hang on to the ball too long, at least he made up for it by scrambling around and either throwing it away or scrambling for some positive yardage. So, and then I don't know about, Shane, obviously wasn't able to, I thought we were on track maybe to be able to get something out of him today. And, he's progressing, but still that shoulder, even I would be hard pressed to say if we practiced or if we played tomorrow that he could go. I still think he's a couple days away. So I think we'll know a whole lot more. I mean, he's made steady progress every day. And I think we'll know a whole lot more tomorrow, Monday, and then going into Tuesday's practice, who we're going to have.
Give me your thoughts also on Gerard Hurd as a runner, using that package a little bit more. And the second question I have is Holton Hill. I mean, I think he's probably your team's leading scorer at this point. Just talk about what he's been able to do the past couple of games.
Yeah, Gerard is a guy he's a dynamic playmaker. He's a guy that's comfortable back there taking snaps and comfortable, in the QB run game. And that is, a very needed added dimension in our offense to equate the numbers like that, in terms of not having the quarterback have to hand off to somebody and now you're -2, you're only -1 when the quarterback runs the football. But the good thing about him is he can throw the football too, and I think that's probably the biggest area that we'll have to expand his package a little bit, or else you're going to see, like most Wildcat deal, people are just going to load the box and play cover 0 on you and dare you to throw it. But Gerard can, and we'll expand that part of his package. And then Holton Hill, man, what a joy it has been to watch that kid grow. Has done a complete 180 from our time, our short time here in 9 months, and for him to contribute as positively as he has had in the last couple of weeks is really good, because that's a position of very little depth right now, and we need him and Chris both to play their A game each and every week.
Coach, the defense pissed a shutout today. How impressed were you by the performance that they gave?
A lot, because that's an offense that, 475 yards averaging, and one of those games being against a top 25 team, and so was really, really proud of the way that they responded. They were embarrassed, and they knew that wasn't them. And Coach Orlando and his staff, put them in a great position, got them right mentally, and hats off to the kids for cutting it loose today and playing really, really aggressive and without hesitation. Now, we had a couple coverage busts that, one got overthrown, the other one was dropped. So we've got to address that. But for the most part, I was really, really proud of them. The challenge was cut it loose. The challenge was to not hesitate, to not evaluate, to not think, just play the call and play it with your hair on fire. And they did that. I don't know that the embarrassment was motivation or challenging, more so than just knowing what we're capable of when we do cut it loose. And those guys really, really responded today.
Coach, did you see anything in practice this week that this type of a game was coming? And obviously, you could tell that they were embarrassed about the way they played last week, but could you actually pinpoint that, man, it's really going to be turned around this week?
I saw a team that could have been, that could have allowed the disappointment to be distracting, that could have allowed the disappointment to affect their intensity level, that could have allowed the disappointment to lead to doubt of who we are and what we do. And they did none of that. They came to work ready to go, focus, locked in, but relaxed. There was a quiet confidence in them that I think we all knew that wasn't our best foot forward last week, and that in order to put our best foot forward today, that we were going to have a great week of practice, and they did.
Coach, it's your first win at Texas, but when do you start looking towards USC next week? Is that something you do tonight, or is that something you're starting tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We're going to enjoy the heck out of this one.
Tom, if Shane's healthy, do you have a decision on your hands here at quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be premature of me to say that today. We got to see how healthy he can be. He played pretty good against a really good team in Maryland. So we've got to make sure. We know we've got a capable one in Sam. We've got to make sure that that Shane can do everything he's capable of doing, and doing it at an elite level, you know, before we throw him back in there. Because A, you don't want to set back from a health standpoint from him, and B, you don't want, you know, the pride of getting him in to inhibit, you know, the offense's production. So I think we'll know a lot more about what kind of decision we have to make, you know, based on his health on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tom, I know depth is something you've talked about since camp started, and I know you had some injuries today, but how important is it in a game like this where you can get some of those backups in for some pretty long stretches in the second half to get them some live reps?
Yeah, it's critical. I mean, game reps, as much as those guys, as game-like as we try to make practice, getting those true game reps are invaluable, and it was important for those guys to get out there and play against a good football team. You did mention injuries. I'll give you an update. As far as I know, Caleb Smith right now, head injury, which really struck me as odd, being the short snapper on field goal. I got to look and see. I didn't think those guys were allowed to get hit in the head, so I got to see what happened there. Garrett Gray and Pat Hudson will both get MRIs on their knees, and then our Monty Foreman. It looks like a bit of a hamstring, maybe kind of really powerful cramp, I guess is the best way to put it. The trainers don't think it's necessarily strained at this point, but we'll know a lot more on him tomorrow.
Tom, how did, just curious how Sam and Gerard kind of reacted to the game plan this week, and just curious if you planned on using Gerard that much, or did that just sort of happen organically because it was working so well?
No, we planned on it. I think, you know, to be fair to that kid, you know, he goes from basically being our starting Z receiver to backup quarterback, and did it without hesitation, very unselfishly, and said, you know, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes to win. But with him doing that, you know, we felt, one, we needed it to take some pressure off of Sam and be an enhancement to the run game, but secondarily, you know, I think it was important to make sure that he got quality snaps and important snaps in the game, so that he understands that, you know, him making that move for the betterment of the team does not go unnoticed. Thank you.